Hey, what it do, Sports World, and welcome to the Real Untouchable Podcast with me, Ray Diggs. I got a great segment for you all. As you all know, the number 8 Alabama Crimson Tide defeated the number 1 team, the Georgia Bulldogs, 27-24 in the SEC Championship game, in which Nick Saban has won another national SEC championship. All right, but listen, before we get started, hey, make sure y'all hit the like button, the subscribe button, and also the share button, all right? And make sure y'all give me your feedback on what you all think about this segment right here, all right? And like I said, make sure y'all comment on this as well. But hey, let's go ahead and jump into it. Hey, the Alabama Crimson Tide, they came into this game, and I think that this team right here knew that they was doubted. This team right here knew that everybody, a lot of people didn't expect them to win. Now, I will say this. Georgia got the ball. Well, Alabama actually got the ball. They, stalled. Then Georgia got it. Georgia took the ball down the field, in which, it was an easy touchdown by Kendall Milton. Hey, a 17-yard touchdown. He went untouched into the end zone. Now it's 7-0. Alabama gets the ball again, stall again. Georgia gets it. They don't do nothing. But then that's when Jam Miller, Jalen Milroe, and this offense started rolling. And once the offense started rolling, well, actually, Will Riker got a field goal, got a 43-yard field goal. So it was 7-3 in the first quarter. So we go to the second quarter. That's when the offense really got rolling. Okay, we have Jalen Milroe. He was running, he was throwing, even though he was missing plays, but he played a hell of a second quarter in which Alabama got 2 touchdowns. One of them from Jam Miller, which was a great. It was like a wheel route. When he went up the sideline wide open. And I'm going to tell y'all something. That play right there was open most of the night. I don't know what Georgia was doing, but they was leaving that play wide open most of the night or most of the game for Alabama to have. But when they scored then, it was 10-7, then Burden. And I know the commentators, they said that the Isaiah Bond, they should have reviewed that play. This is what I don't get about these analysts, man. Like, they will pick one play out of a game and say, yeah, they should have reviewed that play right there. When there's so many things, other things that happen in this game, that they want to pick that one thing because Alabama scored a touchdown and Georgia could have got the turnover on down and they would have got the ball at the 40-yard line. Listen, do referees miss? Do I like referees? I don't. But do they, they're human. Do they miss plays? They do. And I understand and I respect that. So, at the end of the day, Ben Burden got a 15-yard touchdown. And I'm going to tell you something. Burden could have had at least a good 150 yards. If Jalen Milroe put the ball where it needed to be, I think that he have at least 2 long bombs in this game right here. So, and right now it's 17-7. It's 17-7. The game felt like it was closer. The game felt like it should have been more than what it was. It was 17-7. Then Georgia came out there in the third quarter, and like I said, Alabama, they were driving. They stopped Georgia on the first drive. They driving, and it was just play calling. Play calling just messed the whole game up. Then Georgia got it. They went down, kicked the field goal. Then Will Riker, Alabama drove down, to make it 20-10. This game right here should have been, when it was 20-10, it could have easily been 27-10. Okay? So, but because Alabama wasn't capitalizing on these plays and Jalen Milroe was missing a lot of plays, that is the reason why this game was so close. And then next thing you know, Carson Beck goes in for 1 yard. Now it's 20-17. It's a ball game. But then what did Alabama need? Alabama needed Jalen Milroe to put together a drive. And him, on this whole drive, he basically went to Isaiah Bond. Isaiah Bond, man, hey, I got to give you a clap, man. This dude right here is the real deal. And I keep telling everybody, this dude is one of the best wide receivers in college football. Y'all going to find that out next season. I think next season he's going to burst onto the scene. Him, Benson, if Benson decides to stay, these are 2 receivers that's going to burst onto the scenes. But I think next season, Alabama is going to have at least 3 to 4 receivers that have at least 700-800 yards next season. And I think, like I said, Knobloch is going to be one of those people that have a monster season next season for this Alabama Crimson Tide team. And then Kendall Milton pretty much took it in for one yard, and that's what made it 27-24, in which Jalen Milroe pretty much got 2 first downs, and then he pretty much put the game out of reach with those 2 first downs. Okay, but this right here, what I want to say about this Alabama team, right? This Alabama team, right? And like I said, Georgia is still one of the best teams in college football. Okay, Georgia made a lot of mistakes in this game as well. If Georgia don't make these mistakes like the fumble, then this game right here could have easily swung the other way. And honestly, Brock Bauer was hurt, McConkley was hurt, and you can tell they was injured, and that's why I said, you gotta give a round of applause to those two players right there. Because at the end of the day, hey, listen, they was hurt and they was still coming out here making plays for this Georgia Bulldog team. So you gotta give it up to these two players right here, which is McConkley and Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers, a certified top 5 draft pick. If you don't go out there and get it, then there's something wrong with your team. This dude right here is a baller. He's gonna be one of the best tight ends in the NFL. I honestly feel that Georgia went away from what they should have stayed with, and that's running with Milton. I think Milton pretty much would have, I think the Georgia offensive line could have easily wore down this Alabama defensive line. And I think they went away from it and they did something that they normally don't really do a lot, where they pass a lot, but throwing it 30 times. And like I said, Carson Beck had a good game. Minus the fumble, that he didn't have a bad game. He was 21 for 29, 243 yards. Yeah, he had a really good game. The only thing that that makes his stats look like he didn't was that fumble, and them losing the game. But if you're gonna tell me that this Georgia Bulldog team is not one of the best teams in college football, then you need to be drug tested ASAP. Somebody needs to drug test you. Seriously. This team right here, it took everything in Alabama. And like I said, Georgia and Alabama, they're identical. These are two identical teams. Nick Saban and Kirby Smart build these two teams. They are basically the same. Big offensive lines, big defensive lines, really, really good defensive players. This is how they build these two teams. Can Georgia beat Michigan? Can Georgia beat Washington? Can Georgia beat, if they play against Alabama again, can they beat Alabama? Can they beat Florida State? Can they beat Texas? The answer is yes. They can beat all of those teams. And that's the reason why I say that this Georgia team deserves to be in the college football playoff, same as Alabama. Can Alabama beat them? But I'm going to tell y'all why they're not putting these two teams in the college football playoff. And why I think they're not. Because if you put Alabama and Georgia in the college football playoff, it's not going to be nothing but a rematch. It's not going to be nothing but a rematch. It's going to be a rematch in the national championship game between Alabama, Georgia, and an SEC school that's going to win the national championship again. And that's what college football do not want. They want somebody else to win the national championship. Let's just be real. Let's call it what it is. They want Texas to win. They want Michigan. Michigan is the one team that I honestly feel that I think that they really want to win. I think they really want Michigan to win the national championship. But I think that they do not want Nick Saban or Kirby Smart in this college football playoff. That's just my opinion. I don't think they want them in because they know if they put one of these two teams in, one of these two teams is going to win the national championship. And like I said, this Georgia team is still a hell of a team. And they saying, oh, well, Alabama lost to Texas. Is this the same Alabama team that played against Texas? We know it's not the same team that played against Texas. We already know this. Right now, Alabama is a way better team when they played against they was breaking in a brand new quarterback that was just still trying to figure out how to play quarterback, in which, to be honest, he's still learning how to be a quarterback. So think about what it looked like in week 2 when he was actually just learning how to be a quarterback, because he threw 2 terrible interceptions in that game. You see, so let's stop it. Is Alabama one of the best teams? You win the SEC championship, you should be in the college football playoff. That's the bottom line. But I got a feeling that the college football committee, they do not want Alabama in the college football playoff. They do not want Georgia in the college football playoff. And that is the reason why this game right here, if Georgia, I had a feeling if Georgia did lose, that this right here was their excuse to push both of these teams out of the college football playoff. Georgia just helped them out by losing, because that's why they kept Alabama where they kept Alabama at all season. If y'all look at it, they kept Alabama at number 8 all season when they lost against Texas. They moved them down a week after putting them number 8. They put them to number 10. And if you look, they barely moved them every week. And for the longest, they stayed at number 8. Well, they stayed at number 9, number 8 for the longest, because they knew that Alabama would meet against Georgia in the SEC championship. And if all they needed was they just needed for Alabama to knock Georgia off. Now they got what they want. They got Michigan, Washington, Texas, and Florida State. And I'm going to tell you something. Those ratings are going to be shitty. Nobody want to see Florida State in the college football playoff. Just to be real. You know, nobody want to see them. We want to see the 4 best teams. Okay. But listen, like I said, Alabama, the number 8 team, Nick Saban, another SEC championship. And like I said, when Nick Saban back is against the wall, he's going to make sure that his team is ready. And I think that that's right here what this game right here was about. I think Nick Saban got this team ready. They have been disrespected. They have been pretty much put down to the bottom. They was like, oh, Nick Saban reign is over with. The dynasty is done. But Nick Saban and this Crimson Tide team came up against an identical opponent. When they look in the mirror, when they look at Georgia, they are looking at an Alabama team. They're looking at the same players that they have, Georgia have. And when they looked at them, they went head to head with these two teams. And this right here was a hell of a game. One of the best games out of all the games of the conference championship. All the rest of the games, if you look at the ACC, a trash team that shouldn't have been there, Louisville. Big Ten, a trash team, Iowa, shouldn't have been there. And you look at Oklahoma State, another trash team that shouldn't have been there. But besides that, you know, the Pac-12 and the SEC, man, they had hell of a games, man. And I appreciate them for playing these type of games because Oklahoma State pretty much quit on Gundy. And Louisville, I don't even know why they even showed up. They should have just stayed at home. Same thing with Iowa. Iowa came to the game to not score not 1 point. So we definitely appreciate the SEC and the Pac-12 for giving us these hell of a games. And like I said, another round of applause to this Georgia Bulldog team. Hey, you got nothing to be ashamed of. You got nothing to hold your head up. You lost to Nick Saban and this Alabama Crimson Tide team. If I got to lose to somebody, if I'm a team, it's going to be Nick Saban in this Crimson because I know that I'm losing to a hell of a coach and a hell of a team. But hey, listen, y'all let me know what y'all think about this segment. Hey, but thank y'all again for listening to another great segment of the Real Untouchable Podcast with me, Ray Diggs. Hey, y'all, peace, and y'all have a great, great week. And like I said, the number 8 Alabama Crimson Tide defeats the number 1 Georgia Bulldogs. They stopped this 29-game winning streak. All streaks must come to an end. And what greater way to do it than Nick Saban stopping one of his former assistants, which is, you know, a close friend of his, which is Kirby Smart. Stop him at 29 games, man. Nick Saban, I got a listen. This is why we say that this man right here is on a level by himself in college football. And don't get me wrong, taking nothing away from Kirby Smart because he's a hell of a coach as well. But this dude, Nick Saban, he's different, y'all. Hey, but y'all, thank y'all again. Peace, and y'all have a great, great, great week, y'all. Peace.